Real quick, we have two pieces of AI news that basically resolve down to expectation games in AI. Number one is NVIDIA's earnings yesterday. So NVIDIA published earnings after the close of the markets on August 28th, and everyone would think that you'd be happy about it. They beat on the earnings projection they'd given. They advanced the earnings projection for next quarter ahead of what the street had expected. They delivered phenomenal year-over-year growth. I think it was 120% or close to in revenue. Absolutely amazing. And the street still cut the stock price after hours. So it was trading down like 4% after hours. Why is that? Because expectations are through the roof, and the expectation game is what matters. Sometimes on the street, it's your ability to beat the street's forecast by a certain amount that they care about, and NVIDIA did not do that. And why that matters is because NVIDIA is something the street is watching to see if AI is continuing to accelerate, because they're looking for whether chip demand is continuing to grow. And so even though the street provided a very aggressive forecast for upcoming growth, so we can still see sort of that they are expecting more chips to be sold, the street wanted more and more and more and didn't get it. Expectations are shaping the financial reality. Now, NVIDIA's employees are still doing just fine. I read a report that 1 in 3 of them is worth $20 million. So, let's not rush to weep just yet. Number two, contentious California bill. So SB1047 is a bill for AI safety that just passed the California state legislature and is now headed to Governor Newsom's desk. The goal here, it's kind of like SOC 2. If you're familiar with B2B software and compliance, you basically need to be very clear and public and transparent if you are building frontier models, spending more than $100 million on a model, what you are going to do about safety for that model. But what's interesting to me in the same expectations game setting space is that at the end of the day, what they are trying to protect from is a lot like Terminator. It's the Skynet scenario where AI goes rogue, AI takes over critical infrastructure systems, AI controls something that matters to the city or the county or the state and does hundreds of millions of dollars in damages. You can imagine AI shutting down an airport, AI shutting down a hospital. Those are the kinds of things that this bill is worried about and trying to preclude through essentially SOC 2 style process and reporting standards. Now, this has been widely opposed. So Google opposes it, Meta opposes it, Microsoft and OpenAI oppose it. Elon Musk has supported it, and Anthropic has supported it after some amendments to relax it a little bit. We will see where it ends up. It's not clear if Gavin Newsom will approve it or not. We shall find out. The thing that matters, though, is that they are only writing the bill, as far as I can tell, about a particular disaster scenario and trying to preclude that. And we have not yet seen evidence that we can actually see attack vectors from LLMs for the disaster scenario they're describing. And they are saying, as advocates of the bill, like the state legislature members who support the bill are saying, we don't have to see it. We want to preclude it because it's so disastrous if it happens. I would argue that we need to be thinking holistically about AI risk and not just assume that it's going to look like Skynet. We need to think about AI risk in terms of disinformation, for example, because we are starting to see that in the wild today. People imitating other people's voices with AI. People who are able to gain access or unauthorized access to accounts or property with AI. Those kinds of things we are seeing happen in the wild. Disinformation, we're seeing happen in the wild today. But we're not actually seeing the attack vectors that this law is designed to go after. And so, part of me wants to say, maybe we should focus on the harms that we're seeing right in front of us and making sure that we have really clear standards and guardrails around that. And maybe we should think carefully about where we expect LLMs to go before we rush to craft laws about imagined harms that we've seen in sci-fi movies but haven't really seen evidence of here in reality. Because the LLMs we're getting are not really like the LLMs in sci-fi. They're not these mechanical cyborg creatures. They're very fallible. They're very flawed. They remind us a lot of people. And I just don't know if that mental model is correct. So what do you think? Those are the two pieces. I thought both of them, the NVIDIA one and the SB1047 one ties into this mental expectation game we have in AI right now. And expectations shape our reality. When we collectively act on our expectations, we are shaping what actually happens. That bill could become law. The NVIDIA market cap is, 3-4% lower right now. What are your expectations, and are they in line with reality?